All right. Welcome everyone to episode 3 of the NFT Gaming Podcast. I am joined by our special guest Swolesome with our hosts Tyranitar, Fedsy, and Striker.
What's going on, everybody?
How is everyone doing
Doing
today?
good. Doing really good.
All right, great. All right, so let's start. Before we get into the nitty gritty, Swolesome, why don't you introduce yourself and tell people in the stream a little bit about yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Swolesome. You won't say I'm an engine OG. I've been with the ecosystem for a very, very long time. Former community manager for Cats and Mechs. I don't want to get too far into it. Bad memory. But I'm very excited to see what's going on with everything else in the engine ecosystem, and I have a lot of really cool stuff I'd like to talk about and even announce. So stay tuned for that.
Very excited.
All right, great. So I know you're not like solely a Lost Relics guy anymore. I know you used to play a lot, but we're gonna start.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk a little bit about Lost Relics since that's like our roots a little bit. So we're gonna talk about the new market. So for those of you who don't know, Cliff's been doing some updates recently. So recently, because of high gas fees on the engine marketplace, which impacts all of us, we haven't been able to transfer items out of game. So Cliff decided he's going to make his own blockchain emporium, which I thought was an amazing idea. He's going to have it linked through the game. You're going to be able to trade Genge 1-for-1 with, like, let's call it Cliff Bucks. I'm going to call it Cliff Bucks just because it sounds cooler. So you're going to have a Cliff Buck 1-for-1 with Genge. And basically it's going to allow you to trade and sell, well, mostly sell and buy things with Cliff Bucks on the game wallet. And we do have this kind of split between, I mean, eventually it's going to be JumpNet Marketplace, Engine Marketplace, and the Emporium. On top of that, a lot of people were complaining that they couldn't transfer their items out of game and they want to sell now. So Cliff also did that. So now you can transfer items out of game. So now there's going to be these, I mean, diverging marketplaces. Swole, what do you think about that? Like, how do you think that, affects the game in the engine atmosphere?
I feel that one of the biggest selling points for any engine ecosystem game is that you can take your items out of the game, because we're all used to these walled garden systems in non-blockchain games of something like Fortnite, to where you can't even move items between other users in a server. So anytime you can get back to basically an engine game of where you can actually take items back out of the game, that's something you're like, hey, I know I may not be able to sell this item in game. I'm going to trade with my buddy outside the game. I think that's great that you'll be able to, whether through get around gas fees or anything, that you're able to take your items that you earned, that you grinded for, that you fought for, quite literally, and be able to take them out of the game. I think it makes everyone happy.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I didn't really think about this until last night, actually. But do you think, like, let's think about it from a player perspective, right? Let's say you're someone who wants to scoop up deals, right? And like, I think we all browse the marketplace, not just for Lost Relics, but for other stuff. Like, I've been looking at the JumpNet marketplace, buying some Binance hoodies and stuff like that.
Let's Binance hoodies.
Let's think about it from a player's perspective, right? Like, okay, so let's say you have 3 marketplaces, right? And you're trying to scour through deals. Like, are people going to be holding like JumpNet, like Genge, Eng, and Cliff Bucks now to make sure that they can capitalize on this? Like, Strike, what do you think about that?
It's a good question. Obviously, at least in the meantime, we're going to have a patchwork of multiple of different economies. But like, I think at the end of the day, like the perspective I like to look at is, it's like construction, right? So like when construction goes up in your area, like on the roads, like you're stuck for like a year, right? Like wishing the system is horrible, right? You're stuck in traffic. You're waiting for them to finish construction, but it's all towards building to a bigger goal, right? And the ability to, one, get items out of game, and 2, be able to sell like immediately when you hit an item in the game, like it solidifies the play to earn journey. Like it creates the model for players to use immediately, share with their friends, and make it a reality, right? And then things can build on from there.
Yeah, it gives the players way more power, especially with their items, which is, I think, what a lot of people want, except or especially in the interim, if not the long term, like Striker was saying.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I'm seeing this more as like a pathway around the issues we have now, and not like a long term thing. I'm just like, I'm not worried in the short term, but it's something to think about, because like I'm someone who likes to scoop up deals, so I'll probably have like, I don't know, 33% at all of them until, I mean, eventually we're gonna move to to Affinity and stuff, and then this won't be an issue at all. Yeah, just something to think about until then. So speaking of Affinity, let's move on to the Engine network and a little bit away from LR for a bit. So Swole, can you tell us like what you're doing in the environment and like your history with Engine and stuff? Like,
Happy to answer that.
yeah.
So, as you guys know, I've been with Engine for a very, very, very long time. And one of the things that I've always been stuck on is that it's so niche that people only care about doing drops, giveaways, contests for people who know about Engine. Not even reaching out because there's just always this really high tribalism in crypto gaming, of where I invested, I believe in X. If Y comes along, that is a threat directly to me. I will not look at it or anything else. That's, for all case of purposes, like that's evil. It's looking more like organized religion than gaming and the future of being able to earn and play. And so what I've been able to do recently is bring more people into the Engine ecosystem and other just NFT gaming ecosystems. I've been publishing on 1:37 p.m. I'll be doing a YouTube morning show very, very soon. I've been doing the Patreon, be able to educate people on it. And I think I'm going to hold on to later what announcement I want to do. I'm very excited about that. But with the ecosystem, I was able to mint on JumpNet. I'll be able to do narwhals of where I'm able to give to people as a giveaway and be able to incentivize people and for engagement. One thing, it's not set in stone yet, but one thing I would really like to do is during my YouTube morning show, I want to actually incentivize people with NFTs to be able to take really good clips. Because with YouTube now, that's where I'm going to be doing it primarily, is you can clip. And so for me, as an individual, to go through an hour of footage and try and find really good clips by myself, that's going to be very difficult to do, especially if I'm trying to find that one thing. And so one way I want to reward community members is if they take a really good clip, they get rewarded in Swolesome, which is the fee to send narwhals back and forth, and narwhals themselves. So trying to showcase to people like, hey, NFTs aren't just art anymore. They have real use case. They can be used for communities, content creators, businesses, and just being able to showcase that. I think people learn by doing and by seeing. Like, no one took this seriously until I was telling people, oh yeah, I was able to pay for my whole wedding with NFTs, and then all of a sudden people are paying a lot more attention, asking deeper questions.
Their ears perk up.
Yeah, they're asking deeper questions, and what does that stand for again? Like, they're going a little deeper into the rabbit hole.
Yeah, no, for sure. And what I think of when you said, I found something you said earlier interesting. It's like when someone has something that's like in the same space, it's like, okay, this is like against what I'm doing. I'm not going to listen to it, right? It's kind of interesting because it's like, I mean, let's say you're in the Engine space because you like NFT games and you like the play to earn model, right? And it's like, okay, maybe like I'm going to buy this item. And let's look at the Bottle of Enchanted Powers, which is a multiverse item that can be used in like a bunch of different games. Then you invest in those multiverse items, and then it becomes, instead of, oh hey, Lost Relics is the game I play, and I don't want to hear about anything else because this is like what I want and this is what I want to blow up. It's like, hey, now I have these items that can work in multiple different games at the same time. Maybe I'll try something else. So I find that really interesting. And it's like, I mean, you're talking about the narwhals and stuff, and it's like,
yeah. I was gonna say, speaking of the narwhals,
Yeah.
is there anything in the back of your mind that maybe they'll be incorporated in some Engine games in the future?
Yes. So with narwhals, I made it as a lot of people, that's the very first NFT they get. Not like, oh, this is an Engine item they happen to pick up because they were bored. They come around one of my multiple streams and giveaways and competitions.
Right.
Is I teach someone, I want to say several dozen people have gotten an Engine wallet. I taught them how to download a wallet in the crypto space, out of the crypto space. They got narwhal. They now have that emotional attachment to the narwhal. And then I can tell them, I'm going to follow up with, hey, you're going to be able to use that in a video game soon. And for a lot of these people who are new, they don't know you can do that. Like, they hear NFT, they see $69 billion Beeple, or someone sold a meme, and then I can tell, like, hey, this little cute little narwhal I gave to you for free just for being around, or just for being an awesome human being, you can use that in a video game soon. And that kind of changes the conversation for them, going, okay, I now have an item that has value. So for a example, my Patreon, I have all these different tiers that are not NFT. So like, for example, I was going to do a Google Hangout, text-based adventure game where you can earn Swole coin, and they always gravitate towards, okay, what's the best value for collecting these narwhal NFTs? but I am in conversation with several engine games and trying to get that integrated, including a couple integrations that I cannot tell you yet, but there are some really cool ways to integrate NFTs that I've recently discovered that I don't think a lot of people know yet, and I cannot wait to show that off.
Oh, that's really cool.
No.
Let me ask you a quick question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You know, as you're designing and as you're creating the idea of how you want these NFTs or how you want to be able to interact with your community, like over the amount of time that you've been involved with Engine, with NFTs in general, like how often have those ideas, like, have you scrapped them to improve them? How often has that changed because of either growing technology, or you notice that like the player base or what new adopters into either crypto or NFTs think? How often has that changed? How do you feel about that?
I feel a lot of my ideas were scrapped due to limitations. Gas fees were a really big issue. And when I decided to step away from Cats and Mechs, because I'll address the elephant in the room, because I was with a project, I was a community manager, weren't able, COVID really hit us hard, and I decided to step away and do my own thing. I looked at myself and went, okay, I can either stay here and hope that COVID ends sooner, or I can start putting the plans in motion to do this full time and be more of a benefit to NFT space. And so, to answer your question about scrapping plans and such, I found opportunities, like I'm publishing articles with 1:37 p.m., which is owned by Gary Vee. For the last couple of years, I've been getting really in deep with streamers on people who are like not just people who like NFTs to stream, like other streamers, other streaming companies, other streaming groups, and really getting in on building relationships with people and be like, hey, this stuff isn't shady. Like, this stuff has actual utility. And I feel like the plans I have been doing have been sped up because NFTs are now more of a popular buzzword. And with JumpNet being able to mint and not paying any gas fees when I send stuff to people, to where instead of me paying $2,000 or $3,000 out of pocket, which most of the time I don't have readily available just to send stuff out, like I have to budget a lot more precisely, to be able to just send stuff to people and it's in their wallet within 30 seconds. I'm like, hey, let me know when it gets there. They're like, dude, it already hit my wallet. That's so cool. And because I had an issue where I got into Twitch to be able to promote Cats and Mechs. That was my game plan. I was like, okay, I want to be a company-driven Twitch. Like, I am the face of it. I want to be able to showcase people what's going on. And so I did giveaways when I used to do Rocket League. And I did Xbox giveaways. Xbox One giveaways. I gave away a bundle of like several $100s worth of crypto items, including Badali gift cards. And the team that won the tournament was not people who knew about NFTs. It was people who were good at Rocket League. And when I had to explain to them, I was like, okay, yeah, all those items you just got, if you want to sell those, you need a couple $100s now worth of Ethereum. And they're like, can we just get cash instead? Oh, that broke my heart that I put all this time, all this energy, all this stuff, because we were in the middle of moving too. Like, we were actually moving apartments the day of my big event. And for the people who got the prizes, got the engine items, they didn't see it yet. They're like, why do I need this completely other crypto token to just send stuff, to just pay a fee that just basically gets burnt? Like, he's basically spending a lot of money and wasting money to send this around. I don't see the value in this. Like, can we just get a couple $100s in cash instead? And
Yeah, I think that's
hurt.
going to be one of the biggest changes, I think, to the whole environment and the whole ecosystem of NFTs. We see several different chains and environments doing the same thing. It's just not feasible to have, especially for mass adoption. You have a lot of people who are already in the space. They may already have a couple thousand in Ethereum or even more, and they're like, you know what? Okay, I could put it here, and they kind of see the value of it. But the average person, it's like, here's this really cool Pokemon card, but to trade it, you're gonna have to give me back $100. It's like, what
Yeah.
it's killing it right now.
Yeah. Oh, you go ahead, Swolesome.
I was going to say, and a lot of people forget that most gamers balk when a game is $60 to just pay that one-time fee, get the game, and they think DLCs are grubby. They're like, I don't want to pay another $20 for a game I just bought. And we're trying to get players to spend more than that just to send items across. when they sit there and they wait 4 or 5 months for a game they really freaking want just to get that 20% off discount in the Steam store. And we're trying to get mass adoption for these players. Be like, oh yeah, you know your mortgage payment? Basically set that aside, buy Ethereum, hope gas fees die down, and yeah, you might be able to make $20 an engine. Welcome.
That's the thing, is that it seems like it like hits close to home for you, especially because you were talking about like your idea with the narwhals is like that's specifically for like you were talking about like you're teaching people what this space is, and it's like this is like going to be something that's close to them because it's the first NFT they're getting, and it's like I feel like it's a little bit of a hard sell for exactly people like that, especially that are gamers. Because for me, Engine is like the gaming token, right? Like it does have art, and it's really cool that there's art. It's like, but for me, it's like the appeal is okay. I can have utility in the items I buy and have NFTs that I can use in the games I play and some across different games. And it's like for people that are new to the space, for me, like I was learning about it 2 months ago. I've only been in the scene for 2 months, and I'm learning about gas fees, and I'm like, Jesus, like I'm like if I want to buy something that's $4, I'm paying. I mean, at the time, low Gwei was like 120. Like I'm paying like 20x that maybe if I'm buying off the marketplace, and it's like, how is that feasible? And it's like, I mean, if you want to get into it, because I'm sure you're very knowledgeable, like what are the layer 2 solutions that you think are really going to help this?
The one, because I actually just started looking into layer 2 solutions very recently. One I'm interested in because my main knowledge base is Engine. I love Engine. I worked on an Engine game. I minted on Engine, but I understand that all these games can coexist. All these ecosystems can coexist. Some people may strive towards one or the other, but it's kind of like a very good example. I am a huge Bucks fan and Gator fan. And when I was a kid, I remember when there was recruiting for Gator football. Why would anyone want to play anywhere else? We're the best school. And people are taking that 12-year-old mentality of people want to go to my favorite thing because it's the best thing ever because, duh, I like it. And just the idea of they're applying that 12-year-old mentality. Well, I was probably younger, probably 8. But they're taking that mentality of, I like this, I put money, time, energy, love into this, ergo it's the best. People should only do this, everything else, screw it. And I think everything can coexist because even though someone may not like the Gators, they will go to a different school, their dream school, and they'll play against my Gators. It's not like, for people who are not in football, it's not like it's just going to be a spring game all the time because there's only going to be like a massive orange team versus a massive blue team when they're just doing like practices. Boring. And so you have that competitive aspect, but trying to get away from that tribalism. And I forgot the question. I am so sorry. What was it?
We were talking about layer 2 solutions and
layer 2 solutions. Yeah. I'm liking Immutable X from the Gods Unchained guys of trying to figure out because they're trying to find a workaround for Ethereum, and so the one that came to mind is Immutable X. And I sold all my Axies to pay for my wedding. But I know they were trying to work on something. I know.
Congratulations, my friend.
That's what you said, because I figured it had to be Axie. I just wanted to hear what it was.
I had Axies, and someone's like, hey, I'll pay you $1,600 for one of your Axies. I'm like, okay. And they were all, forgot what it was. I bought them all in like 2018. So like I was like, they were like less than 200 for like, it's like this plant, the fish, and the other one. That tells you how much I played it. And I was like, hey, I'll give you 1,600 Ethereum for it. I'm like, okay, cool. And he's like, hey, since you already sold me the one, how about same price for the other two? Okay. And I tell my fiance, I'm like, hey, babe, I paid for our wedding. And she's like, how? I'm like, video game items. And my whole family, that was a really fun Easter where I got to tell my family, I'm like, so, you know that video game stuff I went to GDC for, and you guys were like, oh, Gen Z, this is really freaking weird. I'm not Gen Z, but they just always, like, love roasting Gen Z. And, like, I paid for my wedding with it. And they're like, hold on.
What?
Yeah. They're like, you're telling me some idiot paid $1,600 for a video game item? I'm like, yeah. And he probably is making a lot more money on that. And they're like, you got hosed? I'm like, probably, dude.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe.
It's also interesting because people always like they turn their head and they're like, you sold a video game item for X amount of money, but this has been going on for so long. There's the Steam marketplace. There's been the bad gambling with Steam that they addressed. There's
Gold farming.
gold
Oh,
farming.
yeah.
There's RuneScape. There's
Yeah,
there's
wow, that's what I was
everything.
thinking.
So instead of frowning upon what's going on, where it's like, Fortnite, if you trade your account or something, or you
Mhm.
put your skin up for sale, you're banned. We're
Mhm.
embracing it. Or Engine, NFT space is more embracing that,
Mhm.
and giving way more avenues. And I think that's just
And I
you know
think the
Agreed.
important thing to note is not even the avenues, but the legitimacy. Because
Yes.
a lot of things we talk about, like RuneScape gold farming, I mean, like, I come from playing old school RuneScape. I played a lot. That's the
Mhm.
game I've actually played before I got into Lost Relics and Engine. And it's like the economy is literally based on Venezuelan gold farmers because a lot of them make more money uh, selling gold in RuneScape to people for IRL cash. And it's not against it's against the terms of service of the game, but people do it anyways. But here we have a way for people to not only play a game and make money doing it, but it's like I
Built in.
love, yeah, exactly. Like I love like playing games, and it's like my biggest issue is like when I move on to a different game, what the heck do I do with that stuff? It sits there,
Yes.
and it's like, okay, now you have two things. Like one, like you actually have three options. One, you can leave it, come back, and then your items probably appreciate because we're so early in this. The second thing is you can sell it, and if you want to pocket the money, you can do that. And if you want to buy something for a different game, you can do that. And three, some of your items could literally be used in different games. So you're like, okay, I have this item and it can be used in Lost Relics. And what's this Nestables thing? You go look at Nestables, you're like, wow, I can have Lost Relics open and Nestables at the same time. And I can use both simultaneously. It's like, oh, my wife wants to play this game while I play Lost Relics with the same item. Great. And it's like, you add legitimacy to having like in-game items that have real world value. And I love it.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Quick
think-
thing about that. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Striker.
No, just real quickly. I think you all touched on like some really key points, and I keep trying to think about like what the cycle or what the like thought process is going to be for these new players or for this mass adoption or whatnot. And I just keep going back to this idea of like gaming in terms of like the general public, like is such an unknown, right? But it has had such a key impact on like the development of technology across the world. Like think about it, like because of gaming, we got the introduction to AI. Because of gaming, we got the introduction to the GPU. Because of gaming, we got you know what I mean? Like out of all the industries, like gaming is the easiest to early adopt new technology and show it to the world. I mean, look at Nintendo doing things like the Wii or the Switch or whatever, right? So I keep thinking that because gaming and NFTs are growing so fast, like this education is just going to have to continue to happen, which means there's probably going to be a world where the very first crypto, I mean, it's already today, right? The very first crypto anyone ever owns is an NFT. Like,
Yeah.
people that used to tell me in 2017, like if you want to get your friends involved into crypto, send them a little bit of Bitcoin or send them a little bit of Ethereum just so that they can see it and experience it. And then as they grow, they do it on their own. Well, now it looks like that same thing's happening, but for gamers with gaming NFTs.
Wow.
Yeah. And the sick thing with that is like it could literally just be gaming and you don't even have to go further and it's already a multi-billion dollar a year
without
like
the help
thing.
of the blockchain.
Exactly. And it's like on top of that, it's so much more because it's like even just looking at collectible NFTs, like Striker and myself and Fedsy are huge collectibles. We love like great like behind Fedsy right now. He has a sick collection of like some Game Boy stuff.
That's the primo.
Like like I have like literally sitting beside me is just like a stack of slabs of PSA cards and Beckett cards and stuff. There you go, Pokemon
I gotta
there.
see. I want to
There it
see
is.
what's in there after.
Yeah,
I don't even remember what's in here. I have a
please
base
tell me
set.
it's a Charizard.
I have one and it came damaged. I was so mad.
Ooh.
I
I'll
thought it was
send you
a
this one.
steal. I have
like-
a PS graded Brock's Rhydon somewhere.
Look,
Oh,
we're all
very nice. Look,
collectors.
Striker's right
Great.
here. And it's like, the thing is, it could literally just be gaming and it could literally just be collectibles and people would love it. And it's both and more. And it's like my favorite sport is hockey. And my favorite player is Austin Matthews. And Austin Matthews 1-of-1 NFT just sold for 40 ETH. And it's like,
Wow.
people
Insanity.
don't even know. People like I'm reading these Instagram comments of when he posted like I'm going to be doing this this auction on OpenSea, and everyone in the comments like, what is this? I'm just gonna take a screenshot of it and own it. People don't know yet, but it's like
No, they don't.
and it's like we're so early. And things are already selling. Like this guy literally drops it, and no one in the space knows about him. And it's like, oh, 40 ETH. It's like, okay, because 40 ETH to these early adopters and to these like big whales, it's like it's not a big deal.
Nothing.
But I do see on with Engine, OpenSea, even Atomic Hub, it's very different ecosystems. Whereas OpenSea, I'm not trying to bash any platform, but OpenSea you have a lot of copyrighted images. Someone slaps something up and sells it. Like these things that people are selling, or these big influencers that are selling off some NFT, in the future, if there's no utility backed in, what the hell are, like, what's their image? Like their image is going to be tarnished. Oh, you sold me an NFT of your picture. I paid 40 Ethereum. You screwed all of your fans by dropping the stuff. What do we use it now? If you're not building some sort of framework with utility in the future, when and 100,000%, this market will crash, and some of the things that are worth ETHs and ETH, 1, 2, 3, they're going to crash to nothing, and there's going to be the what do you call it, the titans that stand. You're going to have the one or two platforms that everyone's on. There's going to be no more copyrighted stuff. It's going to be a little bit more regulated. We're kind of in the wild west of Bitcoin and crypto back in like 2017, where we are with NFTs now. So
to piggyback off that, I actually did an article a while back where I was talking about like supply and demand for NFTs and utility. And I was talking about like, Engine kind of figured that part out, because we're seeing now with NFTs, I think they've been artificially grown in terms of demand. Like I wasn't expecting this much demand for NFTs for several more years. I'm like, oh, I got plenty of time to put groundwork down. And I like trying to get all my ducks in a row. And with NFTs of where you have it scaling, or where you have this massive supply of everyone's doing their own NFT, their grandma's doing their own NFT. I have my own NFT. And then you're trying to find a way of where you have this massive supply and the demand can't really keep up with an inflating supply like that. And so you have to have utility. And so one of the biggest ways I've found is talking about having a reserve value, like how Engine has, where you can have so much backing in an Engine item of where, very good example, I love Android. I love my Android, but I have not been able to play War Crypto yet, even though I was one of the OGs way back when they did the crowd sale. Not to put any shade at them, no tea, no shade, but I'm waiting to play with my Mooner. I'm excited. But when I spent $20 or so to go get him way back when, he's now backed by 250 Engine.
Yeah.
You can say I'm doing okay in terms of ROI, and that's showing people like $20 a day. I mean, I'm just a genius, it's okay. I mean, no big deal. But when you have like that inflating supply and you're trying to have the demand and you have like reserve backing and Engine items, I think it's amazing. Even you have something a 0.000 Engine, you have utility there. And one also, I just got to force this in there. All my narwhals, they're backed by Engine, but they don't have an Engine transfer fee. They have a Swolesome transfer fee. I would love to talk about that, because I feel one of the hardest things for adoption is not even just Ether and gas fees. It's trying to tell people, hey, if you want to sell this item, you have to have liquid Engine on hand. And me trying to get gamers and creators and streamers into this, they're not going to have a couple $100 they're just going to spend on magic internet money as they see it. They might have $20, $50 trying to make ends meet. They might try and upgrade their new microphone. I mean, they have other priorities instead of trying to have just money to burn just to send stuff. And so I created my own transfer token, Swolesome, and be able to, like, you can get this through giveaways, through competitions. You can buy it outright in the market. I'm building the market out so that way people can buy and sell and trade it. And so that way it's easier on-ramp for people to where they don't have to do a Coinbase. They don't have to do Gemini just to trade the narwhals they got for free. And I feel that people learn by doing. And then they can show their friends. They go, hey, I got this thing called Swolesome. I don't have to buy Engine, because Engine, back when it was like 4 or 5 cents and it was still proven itself, like you had to mint, I remember you had $5 Engine, you had to mint it with like 5 or have 20 Engine or so to give it value. Because there was that big argument over Engine items only as valuable as how much Engine it's backed by. That's no, like if I give you $5, if you give me $5, I have to give you an engine item that had like 50 engine in it at the time. But now the engine's proven itself, it's getting harder and harder for devs and any content creators and item makers to make something that's minted by a good amount of engine to get an ROI for something. Especially as engine price goes up, as supply and people are staking, it gets harder and harder. So with Swolcoin, I'm very excited because you're going to be able to have utility of where people can get this coin for free and it does not cost a bunch for other people to do this. And I can show people like, hey, you can do your own coin. Other content creators, like let's say we have random celebrity here. They get into engine. They make their own engine-backed currency, their own fungible token. And instead of them having to go out and buy $20,000 of engine at current prices to be able to, because if you have an engine transfer fee, you're going to have to give it to people. A lot of people who've never heard of NFT before or engine, and it becomes a headache. And I was like, the best way for mass adoption is to make it easier for people. The easiest way for people to get this is to have the transfer token on site. So that way, I'm still bringing in income with Swolcoin. There's a demand for Swolcoin, like I'm covered, and I can show other people, I'm like, hey, you can make money just from people loving your item so much, they just trade it all the time. Because I went to GDC back in 2019, and I remember, I'm not going to say who, but there was an engine game in, was it pre-alpha? It was an alpha or pre-alpha, and they were like, Swole, we're making a couple $1,000s a day, which is people just trading our items and just transfer fees. And that was back when engine was, I think 20 or 30 cents, and then it hit up to, it hit up to 40 cents at GDC, and we were flipping out, like, oh my god, engine is expensive, this is horrible for developers, we're not going to get enough engine, and then they crashed down to like 6-7 cents, like, I think the top is 40 cents, and now here we are, 250 and above, and I was like, oh, we really need to figure out this whole backing transfer thing. And then I was able to learn when I was playing around the jump net that you can create your own fungible token. It's like, this is perfect. This is a way to get people on there to where I can do a giveaway. Like for now, if you're watching this stream, I'm going to do a Swolcoin giveaway for you. All we need is people to spam hearts, and one lucky person is going to get 100 Swolcoin that they can use for when they transfer around narballs. I know I didn't ask y'all for permission, but I just want to show the engagement.
We like
it. You're good. You're good.
Any hearts?
In the chat.
Any hearts?
Damn. Even Tyranitar's putting in hearts. Nice.
No, I need those hearts.
You know, and while they're all
points.
Typing hearts in chat really quick, I just wanted to touch one thing we keep dancing around because, like, I think all of us understand it and all of us value it, but I think it really is the key. Like this idea of having utility, right? Like the traditional world is coming from they're coming from the perspective that utility isn't even a consideration, right? It either has its intrinsic value, its collectible value, its raw value, and that's it, right? Like when you purchase, I don't know, when you purchase a collectible from someone else, you know, they never say like, well, what can I do with it, right? It just has its value, right? So I think for gamers, it's easier for people to understand utility because we've been doing it our whole lives, whether it's like having that, if you really had that legendary sword, like you have such a big advantage on whatever boss, you know what I mean? So for gamers, that's an easy translation, but for the average person, for the new crypto adopter, for the new NFT adopter, I mean, they're going to have to go through that learning process, right? Of, well, how valuable is utility? Because if they don't take it into consideration, they're never going to be able to buy an item because it's going to be bought up at a higher price because someone understands it.
Yeah, I want to touch on that actually. I wanted to backtrack a little bit because we were talking about utility and like, let's say like we're talking about utility of an item worth 40 ETH. And I don't think it needs to have any utility at all. Personally, I don't think it needs backing. And I'm going to go back to this because like we just showed, we all have a use case for these collectibles. And I know for a fact, none of us are playing with these Pokemon cards. None of us here.
No. You
can't play with these baseball cards. My cards are literally sealed in plastic. Feds, the stuff behind Feds is never going to open them and play them. And that's the thing. It's like, I spend 40 ETH on...
Never.
Yeah. I spent 40 ETH. Let's say I spend 40 ETH on an NFT of my favorite player, and it literally does nothing. It does actually have a use case there are use cases for that NFT. But let's say it literally does nothing. I mean, a collectible is still going to see that as this is the one of one NFT, and it's the very first NFT, not only made by an NHL player, but it's the first NFT made by this guy who might go down in the Hall of Fame as one of the best goal scorers of all time. And it's like, you don't need, I think the use case is awesome. And I think some items need to have use cases and stuff. But I think for stuff like this, and even like the Topps cards and Top Shot, it's like there doesn't need to be a use case at all, and people will still love them. And I don't think that market is crashing for stuff like that. However, when you have the over saturation of everyone's making their own thing, and half of the things are just pictures with no use case, then I see the argument. But I think when you have these big names making things with no utility, I don't think it matters, personally.
And to go off of that, so when people talk about utilities and stuff, NFTs, sometimes you have someone, saw someone had an AI and it did a selfie and it sold it for like 70 Ethereum. And that was like someone's example. I'm like, hey, do you know what MT is? One of the guys I work with one of the guys who has a charity that I like working with. I saw him, like, hey, I'm talking to him a while. Do you know what NFTs are? He's like, yeah, I saw this AI. He made a selfie of himself and it got sold for 70 Ethereum. Crazy, right? I'm like, yeah, NFT art is BS. And it throws people for a loop. They're like, whoa, wait. You don't like NFT art? I'm like, yeah, I don't see the utility. I like NFT gaming. And they're like, because they're expecting my reaction to be like to defend art, especially the optics right now are it's bad for the environment. It sucks. And by the way, I just wanted to say that I hope I'm saying it right. Devilish.
Oh, nice.
DM me your Ethereum address. I picked you. I dig the name. So congrats, you're gonna get 100 Swole coin. And that's the engagement I want to show the NFTs allow you to do. But when it comes to the one-offs, so the Pokemon card. Another thing that we're not even thinking about when it comes to these guys.
That box makes me nervous.
It's an older box.
I know. Every time you swing it around, I'm sitting.
It's
here,
really
like,
nice.
It's just like, no.
Like, nothing's happening to these.
Yeah.
You know?
But just that, we don't know who had an eccentric middle school thing, and they have like a whole storage unit full of Pokemon cards, and boom, they got like 10 Charizards. And so with NFTs, you're able to see verifiable, they can't get damaged, and they have instable liquidability, especially the engine ones, because you can destroy them, which makes them rare. Whereas Pokemon, we don't know how many Charizards in the world. We don't know how many are 10 grade. Say there could be copycats, and there might be like one dude has them in a shoebox, and then he passes away, gives it to his kid, and his kid goes, "Hey, student loans suck. I'm selling all my dad's old Pokemon cards that I don't have that nostalgia with." And I think nostalgia is a very powerful motivator, and because they're rare and people did it back in the 90s, and then you just had this. It's almost like when you had the market maker bots, where if you have like a big swing up or down, the bots keep bidding each other out, like they just build on top of each other. You kind of have that effect going on with nostalgia and Pokemon, which I think is a great thing. But one thing I'm very excited for this week, actually on May 5th, same day as my wedding, is Gary V. He is doing an NFT drop I'm very excited about because from what I understand, it's going to be a Dutch system, so it's not going to be stupid expensive. But as I understand it, it's going to be NFTs that unlock value over time. It's a very interesting mechanic. I don't know what system it's doing it on or anything like that, but I'll keep an eye on for it.
Yeah, that's going to be...
I didn't know the Dutch auction was public yet. I knew about that. I didn't know it was public.
He mentioned
public.
it in Discord.
Mentioned it.
Yeah,
he mentioned it in
I
Discord.
wasn't sure.
I was in there and I was like talking about people. I'm like, so who in here knows about NFT gaming? They're like, oh, that can't
What is
work.
that?
Yeah, that can't work. I love one time I mentioned something about NFT gaming, and they're like, oh, that can't work. You know, game balance is a thing. And I was like, I worked on a video game. I know what game balance is, but okay, we can have that argument. Okay.
It is interesting. I mean,
it's very interesting.
Because I listen. I'm not gonna say that play to earn games won't be play to win. There will be some games out there that are we have blockchain items, buy our items, you could be the best in the game. There will be those games.
Oh, of course.
But that's why I think it's going to be a very fine line of what is going to be sustained in the future. You know, with Lost Relics or Gods Unchained, even Axie, you have all this different not utility, but
I know.
environment going on, right?
Yeah.
And even sorry, continue.
No, just even if pay to win becomes this huge model, let's just assume. Like the key behind the blockchain really, or behind the tech, is that at any time you can decide, hey, I'm going to sell my stuff and I'm going to go buy this new stuff in this new game because I want to play that. And like that by itself it's a new generation of gaming.
That's the thing. And it's like pay to win will be incredibly popular. Like, don't forget about that, because you have games like Clash of Clans, which provide literally no utility outside of having your account, which is with most games, right? You could play Clash of Clans for 2 years and not be max level, or you could pay $20,000 and be further than the guy who's been playing for 2 years. And like Striker said, the difference between Clash of Clans pay to win model and something on the blockchain with the same pay to win model is you can decide, oh, this game's popular, I bought stuff, I'm going to exit, I've had my fun, and I can leave. And you can be out, like maybe your items go down in value, maybe they go up. You play, you have fun, and you can leave. And I honestly think the pay to win model can exist in the blockchain, and it could be completely okay.
I actually just remembered something. There's a story I like to tell. So I like to brag on this, but I went to San Francisco GDC 2019, met a bunch of different engine developers. But I don't really talk about this enough, is I got to meet the CEO of Skullgirl, which is a very, very popular mobile game. I just was walking down the street and I just glanced down his GDC badge and saw CEO, and I was like, let me talk to this guy. And so we're just chilling, just talking as we're walking. Didn't mean to make that rhyme, but he was saying like, oh, it's Skullgirls. I'm like, so what do you do here at GDC? Well, I talked about the time that one of my developers accidentally wiped the entire user base and how we were able to reclaim our entire player system. So what had happened was the developer was working in the back end, as I remember, and people were like a level 100. They had different skins. They had items and special pets, and they lost everything in one night. And they've been playing the game for years, $100, because it was on the back end on the server, and he's like, we lost everything. And I was like, that's kind of cool. What if they were able to already own their stuff? And what do you mean? And it's like, look up engine. I don't know if he probably has so many people shilling him stuff, so it's not a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
But I love using the example of you have a game that you had all these players, and they weren't in control of their own destiny. Anytime a server malfunction could happen, and they had to start over at zero. And like, how does the game recapture it? And that was his thing. It's like, oh, when the bad stuff happens, this is how you get people back. Whereas for us, we're like, that can never happen to you, where you own your own stuff. My favorite analogy: you could insult the developer's mother, and he can't do anything to you. He can't take your stuff. Your items are yours.
Yeah,
that's a good way to look at it. Yeah, for sure.
And it's such an extreme example because people like look at me and go, okay, but is that like you really insult his mother, or like just casual insult? He can't do anything. Like, no, he can't do anything. It's like, your items are yours, and people go, really like that. And there's really exciting stuff coming down the tube I can't talk about, but there is one. Let me quickly send my Swole coins to him, and I have an announcement. But
Sweet.
Awesome. I mean, we can
the
continue
power
back.
of engine.
We can continue back on that while you're doing that on the talk about collectibles and stuff, right? And art.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, all I have to say about collectibles and art is, for anyone saying like, oh, like, why would I want a physical thing if I could why would I want a digital thing if I can have the physical?
Right.
I know for a fact if Nintendo entered the engine space
and
they started releasing numbered NFTs for Pokemon cards, you bet your ass that everyone's coming into the space and investing and buying them. Like, I don't even want to think about the amount of money I would spend on that, because it'd be disgusting. Like, you don't think I want this card on my wallet numbered to like my favorite number? Like, you know, I'm getting 23 of a Tyranitar. Like,
but it's funny you mention that, because I believe Engine's the only platform allowed to operate in Japan.
For the only gaming token, correct.
Yeah.
So it's not far off that Nintendo is somewhere in the background there, just dabbling.
If they even heard about that. But I don't want to get too moon boy too high.
Of course.
Because I've been in this for so long that I went 2 years. Like, of course people discover this. Of course Ubisoft. Of course everyone's going to use this. Like, why not? It's amazing. Same thing. It's like kind of like, I love my Florida Gators. Why would anyone want to play anywhere else? Why would everyone want to play at FSU? Like, it's stupid. Why would anyone want to play there? And just be able to show that, you got to show by doing.
Yeah, and we like. I just want to say one thing. It's like, man, I pull a card from a Pokemon, from a pack of Pokemon cards. not only do I have to send it to PSA to get a good grading, man, that shit is already dinged out of the pack half the time. There's already bent corners and stuff, man. But
it's fun.
It is amazing, but imagine opening a virtual pack.
I love
knowing
both.
that your card will never ever lose its sheen. You know, it'll never have a bent corner, and you know it's there. And it's like, for me, if something like that comes on in the future, I'll be there.
I just want to say Pokemon already has digital cards.
I know, but not on the blockchain. That's the thing. That's the difference. As I think on the blockchain is the key there.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's time for the announcement.
Okay.
If y'all are okay with
Big
that.
announcement.
Of course.
All right, chat.
Do
If
it.
you guys want to hear some really exciting news that I was able to do at the network, put poggers in the chat. Just poggers, everything, whatever you want. Just hype. Pog. Anything in the chat. Just hype it up. I have some really exciting news that you guys are going to hear first. So to basically start this off, I got into streaming a very long time ago because I saw the value of being able to teach content creators and streamers that, because they can go and teach their audience that. So I am proud to announce that I am working with Ashley Christ to create a content creation team. Now, what this content creation team would be able to do, let me find my exact verbiage because I want to get this right. But first, follow myself and Ashley Christ on Twitter, because we are building a cross-platform content creation team for people who are interested in crypto, NFT, real estate, and stocks, and wants to teach and learn it, because signups are going live later this week, where you will be able to possibly become part of a content creation team that's interested in that stuff, that likes teaching people stuff. And did I mention there are sponsors lined up? Meaning, if you want to be able to talk about this for a living, you could possibly do it. If you want to talk about NFTs, Engine, Wax, anything, all tribes are welcome, because we love teaching people the future of this. Or maybe you're just a stock guy getting into this. It's going live this week, baby, and we're excited to see you. So make sure you sign up and apply.
That is awesome.
Really exciting, man. Really exciting.
And
I love that.
To get people excited who might not know who Ashley Christ is, could you give like a little bit of your background to your best knowledge? Sorry to put you on the spot.
Of course. So Ashley Christ is one of the most prolific stream coaches. She's on first name basis with a lot of people in the industry. Even Ninja, yes, that Ninja, quoted her. Yeah, Pog, Major Pog. I don't know what that word was. Major Pog. He references her content of saying like she knows her stuff. I lost y'all. Hold on.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're here.
You're good, I think.
Here we are. Okay, sorry. But Ashley Christ is very prolific in the space. Like, her pin tweet on her profile is Ninja talking about like she is one to go to if you want to learn about streaming. Like, she is one of the people in the industry if you want to learn about streaming, content creation, everything. She just made a switch to YouTube. Like, she's very big in this space, and she's also very well connected and with sponsors and everything. And so I think this is a very serious step that we have to hit to be able to get NFTs and Engine and all this different stuff into the ecosystem. And I'm very proud to say that I'm making it happen for you guys. And
that's unreal.
All I ask is for you guys to follow me on YouTube and Twitter, her also on Twitter, to stay updated. So if you want to apply, there's going to be no viewership or following requirement. It's if you have a love of learning and teaching or teaching all of this craziness.
All right,
and I know, just to jump on that, you have some other exciting news maybe for people who want to get involved and sort of want to see what your patrons all about there, with maybe some more
yes. I am doing a Gleam. I am putting it in the chat. Actually,
I'm on you
guys put it
already.
in the chat for me?
Yeah, we got it.
Thank you. Yes. I just did my very first Gleam campaign. You would get one wall. We just launched a Patreon. Patreon's going really well. We have a really good, positive Discord to be able to discuss what's going on with Patreon, or with NFTs. A bunch of different people from different tribes. No tribalism. I love it. I'm very proud of we're able to bring in newbies, wax people, engine people, other ecosystems to be able to like, hey, this is what we're talking about. Because people have been doing tribalism for way too long. As long as I've been to this space. I've given the ecosystem way too many chances and too much time to get over tribalism. I'm taking it into my own hands, and we're going to grow past tribalism, be able to learn and teach and go past toxicity, to where someone comes in, they can learn about everything and just find whatever works best for them, and then everything can coexist. I'm very proud and I'm very excited to make that a reality.
It's amazing.
Very,
That's
very
amazing
nice.
to
And
hear.
Also,
yeah, go
I forgot to mention the really good selling on Patreon, the $100 tier, the big tier, you get to create an NFT for Gen 2. So if there's an NFT you've really been wanting to making and you want to create this, you can do that. But there's only 20 slots available each month. And Monopoly on Diamond Narwhals. So you would get a Diamond Narwhal, but you only need $5 to join the Discord. So you're welcome.
Very, very, very nice.
Very cool, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for what the future holds.
You and me both. After years, it finally feels like we're being respected, and I love it.
Yeah.
So what's for you, like before we exit out of this, for you, like what is, you talk about being respected and thing, what does that mean to you? Like when do you feel like this becomes, you know, like maybe you already feel like it's legitimate, but when is it real for you where it's like, okay, this is a thing?
I think it gets to the point where random people talk to me about NFT. Like, I still love it when people come to me and they go, "Oh, you know what Bitcoin is? Like, do you know how Bitcoin works?" I think I know what Bitcoin is. Yeah, I say I've worked with it over years, and getting to the point where NFTs are so, or someone just randomly I talk to at a G somewhere, they just talk about NFTs to me. We're like, "Hey, you like video games? Have you heard about NFTs?" That's where we're getting to that mass adoption where people are really excited because we've always wanted a Ready Player One. We just didn't know how to do it. And we didn't know whether it's through technical limitation or because other games had such big AAA studios had such a chokehold on that business model that they were going to let anything else happen. And now we're getting to the point where it doesn't matter because you have all these indie games who are making coalitions of a bunch of different games in a shared ecosystem that you just get a couple streamers involved to showcase what's going on. Domino effect. And that's what I've been working and building on for so long, trying to get in good with all these really cool streamers and really positive people. And we're there. We are freaking there. This is going to speed up a lot faster than you guys think. And all I ask is you guys follow and be part of the journey and just keep an eye on it and just see what you guys want to do with it. Because I encourage everyone in here who wants to make content, because it's not just Twitter, not just YouTube. It's if you make content on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, which has horrible monetization. I have 100,000 likes on TikTok. I've made $10.
Almost there. Almost there.
I can almost pay for. Oh, wow. I could almost pay for McDonald's. Good with a combo. Yeah, not there yet.
So hopefully this is. Oh,
someone just popped in the chat.
Hey, nice. Hey, do you guys recognize that name?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Hey, what's going on?
You were
someone was summoned.
Yeah.
It was Miss Ashley Christ. All right, so you guys have wanted legitimacy. You've wanted to get the chance to where we get to the point where NFTs are adopted to where we can actually make money playing video games, to where you can quit your day job, like a lot of people have been dreaming about, to where you don't have to worry about bills because you're able to create content with NFTs, have your own NFTs, have your own community. We're there. And we're freaking there. We have Twitch partners on board. We have sponsorships. We have actual sponsors who are ready to go, okay, let's run with this. Let's just run it back. Let's do this. And it's like building a good football team. We have the pieces in place, and regular season's coming up. And I'm very excited to answer any and all questions you guys have. And I'm really excited to see Ashton Christ here. I didn't make it, but that's
awesome.
I think is the missing piece of the puzzle. Think about it, of just being able to have, like, you had someone like me who like has been in the NFT space so long but didn't have the connections, didn't have the exposure, and now I'm able to create the stream team with her, this content creation team, and do some really cool stuff.
I mean, that's what it is at the end of the day, right? To get it to make it to this level of legitimacy, it's not just about what you do and how well you do it, because you could be the best at what you do and no one knows who you are. You need those links, and people like Ashley Christ like help us get and become legitimate in the space. And I think it's really important, and I love what you guys are doing, and I love the announcement, and I think people are going to be excited, and I think you're going to get a lot of feedback and a lot of replies to that Google Doc you're making.
I'm very excited, and I want everyone in here who likes to be able to apply, because I think we're going to be able to change a lot of lives. And it's not just because they're being nice, it's because there's actual value being given where this system works. It's just a matter of let's run it. And just like, let's do this of where I have my narwhals, I'm able to do giveaway. You know, in fact, that is in here, I'm going to do another giveaway.
Oh my
Guys.
god.
Another one, double, hitting
Another one.
double. So if I can get a bunch of hearts or something along the price of something along the lines of hello, Ashton, how are you doing? Anything like that, whoop whoop, it's hearts and everything like that. I'll give 1,000 swole coins to one lucky person. Because I'm
Whoa, I
going
gotta get
big,
in
we're
there.
going
I gotta get
bad.
in
Let's
there.
get there. I am excited. Let's run it up. Guys, I've been waiting years for this. I've been building this up for years to get to this point to where we can take it seriously, and I'm excited.
So,
You know, I think that's really the key because, and that's what makes me even more bullish, right? Because you have the project and what the project can bring back and give utility back to people or value back to people, and that's its own thing, right? But excuse me, as we've been growing like through this NFT space and through the gaming space and crypto space, you start to see, or I start hearing a lot of people presenting their ideas like, okay, look, I invested in X or I bought Y because when this thing happens, it's gonna, bring me back value, right? The longer people are involved in the space, the more I start hearing that phrasing being flipped on its head. Instead of people saying, when this system gets built out, it's starting to turn into, I'm gonna build out that system.
Yeah.
Because I have the idea. I know what I want someone else to do, but they probably wouldn't be able to build it the way that I envision. And then you take charge of it, right? And you build towards the future and giving back to the community, giving back to adding value, as you continue to move forward. And that's what's the most exciting for me when I hear projects like what you're describing, and it just really excites me for the future of the space, right?
I am so excited too. It's just, this is what we've wanted to happen. Like, this is like the natural progression of everything. And people like Gary Vee talking about NFTs, it accelerated us getting to this point. Like, we knew this was eventually going to happen, but I'm ready.
Yeah. And I think the huge thing is that as the space grows and as people, join the network, there's a lot more different minds, different ideas, different perspectives of way to interact, not only from the project side, but from the community side. That honestly, having everybody's minds being put together and problem solving and creating for the future is just, it's the key. It's the key to all of it.
I just want to give someone a very quick shout out. I saw my boy Kenny Guy Games. We were talking about poker. I got him a what was it, Champions Path for his birthday. We pulled a freaking Rainbow Charizard. We were flipping out. Kenny, I'm giving you all this love right now. Please tell me you got that thing PSA graded. I've been on your.
There.
Oh, you got one too! Oh, it's his brother! It's his brother!
We're all collecting cards.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't pull that shit myself. I opened a lot of Champions Path. I didn't get anything. So
it was the first box I opened, or first box I got for him. We opened cards. He opened it. He had a thing. He's like, okay, I'm gonna put 3 back here, so that way when you open it, it's the big one in the pack. And I was like, okay, I'm learning stuff because I didn't know this because I didn't do Pokemon growing up. And then he did it, and we're like, oh, I didn't know what the hell it was, but I knew it looks cool. I'm like, that looks really.
Yeah. And
it's like, oh, this is gonna be $1,000. I'm like, cool.
I think I swear, I think I opened 7 or 8 ETBs. Not one thing.
Yeah.
Not one thing. They're all just sitting there.
That's a nice 80 packs down the drain, and then our buddy opens 2 packs and gets it too.
Yeah, I'm just my Charizard luck is.
Yeah.
Just to show y'all how behind I am on. I got this with Kenny Boy a while back.
Yeah, Rebels Clash, right?
Rebel Clash. Yeah.
I still haven't opened it.
That's good. Keep it sealed. Keep it
It's
sealed.
so hard for me to open, man. It's so hard. I know what you mean.
Yeah, you're talking to Diamond Head Striker.
We're just sitting there chilling at like freaking. Where were we? We were at freaking thing, and the waitress was like, oh, what a bunch of nerds. Oh, this is cool. Oh, they're not gonna tip. I don't think they're gonna tip me very high. But okay.
Hey, if you pull a Charizard, you might.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just tip her in the card, and she's like, I don't want this. It's just a piece of cardboard, and just be able to like all the cool stuff that we're able to do, and I am so excited. I can go on for hours with you guys about this because we're here. Like, we're able to do stuff, and we're going to be able to get narwhals integrated. We're going to be able to get other content creators, other streamers. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, we're going to get this, and this person, but it's going to get excited. It's not going to be the one dude who does a giveaway, and their watch count goes from 30 to 2 every time an item gets given.
Yeah.
100%. So who are you picking for your big giveaway?
Oh,
NFT JoJo. I saw a lot of. He has been.
that's hard love.
It's hard love. I'm not commenting on that one.
Yeah.
No. I'm not. I was gonna add some jokes to that one, but
Yeah, no. JoJo's actually a
No.
good friend of the Discord. He is.
he's a good dude. He's a good dude. But I also like to add. I wanted to give Ruthless a shout out because he has been really awesome teaching me whack stuff, and I'm not an expert on everything. And I would like to say that I'd like to get past tribalism and everything that was associated with NFT gaming. And so having someone like him in the community has been amazing. And just getting as many people into the Patreon as possible who are like good people who like to teach, who like to learn, not even just the one they're invested in, but like other NFT projects. I think that's how we're getting mass adoption, is by getting content creators, getting streamers, getting big names in there, and by able to get people who don't care about the tribe. So like, I just love the technology. I love what we're able to do, and just not like, oh, this is gonna be a quick buck and this sucks because I put $5 in this. Ergo, and that's the worst thing. The people who put the least amount of money seem to be more tribal, and I hate that. I want people to be able to learn and do everything, and get to the point where we have like a Microsoft and an Apple, where okay, you may not agree with each other, but you're not going to say, oh, I put money in Apple and I think Windows is going to crash one day. No one says that. No one is dumb enough to say that, but people feel that way about crypto, and it's just.
Yeah, I mean, the Discord, like, we're all on Alien Worlds on Wax and the MLB packs that came out, and like, we're also doing stuff on Engine. That's the thing. It's like there are benefits from all these platforms, and you can gain from using more than just one platform. And I don't know, diversification is key. That's the way I see it, at least. And I think you're striving for the same thing, and I like that.
Yes, and I want to say thank you, guys. I don't know how you guys want to wrap it up, but I was
Yeah.
going to say thank you for letting me be on here, and very excited. Ash and I will drop the applications this week, so make sure you're following her and myself on Twitter to be live when that's going on. And I don't know if I said it yet, but I'm also going to be doing a YouTube morning show talking about this stuff, and I would love to have any or guys show at certain times be able to do like a hey, good morning, let's talk about NFTs, and just talk about like what's going over here, like just be able to have like maybe have like a little ticker on the bottom to talk about like conversion rates or what.
Yeah, I mean that's the exciting part of it, right? You said the key to it, right, is obviously education, onboarding all of these new adopters and helping them explore the space as safely as you can recommend, right? So
Right.
The idea of the morning show, like I'd love to have some of those in-depth discussions with you for sure. So, count me in for one of those in the future.
That's awesome. You were on my short list because I asked a couple people, and they're like, no. Striker. I'm like, okay.
Yes.
I love Striker.
Striker's the educator. He when all of us were new to the space, like this guy, like I don't know, I'd see him as like kind of a mentor, like helped us all with everything, like not just like with Lost Relics, like I don't know how to use anything crypto, and it's like not only does this guy like come into the Discord and like help us, but like his stream is literally like you need to learn, like go to Striker's stream.
Okay.
Crazy, it's fun.
I'm gonna take advantage of this. Actually, Christ is very new to NFT space. And Engine. What game would you recommend she try first to play?
Well, I think that's a very loaded question.
If she has
it's a loaded question.
Lost Relics.
If she has a Lost Relics account, I'd say Lost Relics, but account creation has been recently.
Oh.
We might need to get
Might need to pull in some favors for that, but
you might remember like hey Cliff, can you do an exception? We'll
be in contact. We'll be in contact, but yeah, I'd say
shake hands with money in the palm,
I'd say it's definitely contingent on the type of game you're into, but like I mean, you're talking to people who play Lost Relics. I would say Lost Relics if we can. If you don't have an account, if we can get your hands on an account, I would say Lost Relics is the best one that I've tried at least so far.
Yeah,
and that's across all because I'm gonna say like doesn't even have to be an engine game, just like getting people into the NFT space. But
do you have anything do you have any games you've played that you recommend? Gods Unchained is cool too.
But Gods Unchained, you don't really. You don't get the NFT experience because their forging is done. Right now, if you want the full-fledged pre-alpha, like you can get drops in Lost Relics, you can get different things, you can experience having it and taking it out if you want. Gods Unchained has some of that. Axie's a little expensive to get into. I can't really think of anything that's that good.
We're still like so early in this where it's like
so
the
early.
good games, like Lost Relics, as I see as like the game that I'm going to be playing. We're literally pre-alpha, and now we're closed alpha. Like that's how early we are. Like we're not in beta yet. We're still like Cliff talks about it. Like we're in the infancy stage, and he wants people to know that. But no, Feds, go ahead.
I was gonna say Jojo actually just mentioned chat. Space Misfits is out there as well. They're doing I guess I'll shamelessly plug. They're doing an event right now, and they just opened up their alpha. So if you participate, it's free to jump in, and it's very basic, but it's a space shooter MMO. So there's that.
Very, very nice.
I remember her and her partner. They love Dead by Daylight, if I remember correctly. I know her partner does. So we don't really have a Dead by Daylight, to our knowledge. Anything that's even similar to like 1v4 Hunter, I think it'd be cool, but I don't think we do. So I'm trying to think something to that regard. I feel so bad. I've known Ashley for so long. Game genre she likes. I'm like, oh, this is a golden opportunity. I'm like, yes, we can do this. Hey,
honestly, from a research and understanding and just getting yourself informed, like the way I tend to look at it, not really is like the specific project, like that you have to be involved with one specific project. Like the thing that keeps standing out to me is like evaluating, like there are models for different types of gameplay, right, that have existed in the past that is now being onboarded to crypto or to the NFT space. So the thing that intrigues me the most is like, what happens when the Pokemon breeding system meets NFT? Oh, we get something like Axie. Okay, so it is the evolution.
She's asking what's Lost Relics.
Yeah, so like Lost Relics, the idea here, and what makes me feel like it is one of the core games to research or to play or to get involved in, is that it models this like Diablo / RuneScape model, which is the combination of an in-game world and a real world economy rolled into one, right? So which it feels like the perfect type of test bed for crypto, because it gives like crypto, obviously starting with Bitcoin with the idea of peer-to-peer transactions, meeting a digital virtual world in which the goal of the game is to be able to transact peer-to-peer. You know what I mean? Whether it's you selling your loadout, or you wanting to farm up resources, or you wanting to, purchase, a plot of land in the town square, or own a booth where you sell whatever, right? So like the reason why I focus on Lost Relics primarily is just because it has the ability to meet the real world head on, or the physical world head on, in terms of an economy. And that's what drives me and makes me so bullish about it. The experimenting is going to be huge.
If we don't already have an account, I think we reach out to Cliff and be like, "Hey, we have a friend who we want to get into Lost Relics, and could you help us out with that?" Because
we could see.
We'll try to see what we can do behind the scenes after the
only thing Lost Relics is Ashley. That's smooth. I like that. That was very smooth, Ruth.
Yeah, I think we'll try to see what we can do after the podcast. But speaking of after the podcast, I think this was great. Thank you again, Swolesome. We kind of already had your plugs already, so I won't ask you for those. Thank you, Strike and Fedzi, for joining us today as usual, and thank you everyone for watching. Again, make sure to check out the giveaway that Swole is doing. The Gleam has been linked there, and also make sure to check out the Patreon, because he's doing some great things.
Yeah, guys,
this has been the NFT Gaming Podcast, episode 3. Please, guys, make sure to stop by, check out the Gleam, support Swolesome, and we will see you guys next Sunday.
Thank you.
Peace out.
Bye. Thank you, guys.